Hi everybody, welcome to our video about ties and slurs. So in this video, we're going to talk really about three main things. One, what does a tie and a slur look like? Can you tell the difference between what they are? Number two, do you know what a tie or a slur is telling you to do musically? And number three, how do you play a tie or a slur on your instrument? Are you ready? Okay, let's start by looking at what a tie and a slur look like on the music staff. Let's go. Here we go. A tie connects two or more of the same note. Okay, so right here you can see I've got my treble clef, time signatures 4/4, whole note, half note, 2 quarter notes. A tie would look like this. Curved line connecting two or more of the same note, okay? So the reason a composer would use this would be because they wanted this note to be held for 6 beats. I want to show you another thing. Ties can go across measure lines. Remember in a couple videos back we were talking about time signatures. If our top number is 4, each measure is going to equal 4 beats. So you'd have a measure line here. But if this composer wanted this G to last for 6 beats, they would need to use a tie. Now here is an example of a tie that is more than 2 notes connected. Okay, so this is actually from a French horn concerto by Mozart. And you can see I've got this measure, this measure, this measure. They're all connected. And they're all the same notes. See, they're all in this top line. That's an F. So I would hold this F for, we got to add their values together. That's how your tie works. 2, because it's a half note, right? 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 for this quarter note. So I would be holding this F for 7 beats. Okay? So there's an example of a tie that is more than 2 beats. More than 2 notes, excuse me. So you can have very long ties, or you can have ties that are shorter. I believe I have a tie over here, like here. This is also a tie, because look, these are the same note. So always looking at that note head. If the note head is in the same line or space as the one it's connected to, it's a tie. All right, let's look at some slurs. So the big difference here is that a slur is connecting two or more, I forgot to write my or more, different notes. Meaning their note heads, you really got to look carefully at the round part, their note heads are not going to be on the same line or space. So you can have a slur that's connecting 2 notes, like that. But you could also have a slur that could connect all 3 or even all 4 of these notes, and it would just be one big curved line. All right, let's look at a slur in a piece of my music. Okay, I'm using that same French horn concerto by Mozart to show you now slurs. Remember, I just showed you this tie here, this multi-measure tie, because it goes across multiple measures. Look at this slur. You could tell it's a slur and not a tie because the notes are in 2 different places. Those are different notes. This is a low B flat and this is an F. Here's another one, slur. Now those slurs are only 2 notes. Let's find a slur that's more notes. How about right here? All 4 of these 8th notes. See this slur connecting them? I would play all of those smoothly and without tonguing in between. And then you'll notice, what's this one? Slur or a tie? It's a tie. How do you know? Because the notes that are connected are on the same line. So they're the same notes, so it's a tie. So you just add them. How about over here, slur or tie? Slur, because the notes are different. Last one, slur or tie? I hope you said tie. Okay, lastly, let's talk about how do we play these on our instruments. Okay, let's start with wind instruments. So wind instruments, slurring is pretty darn easy. All you have to do is not tongue. So you want all of your notes to be nice and connected, not separated with your tongue. Okay, so I'm going to demo on clarinet. I'm just going to do C, D, E, F, G. Okay, your open G. Okay, and I'm going to slur them. Here's what it sounds like. Hear how it's nice and smooth and it's all one breath? Here's what it would sound like if I tongued them. Did you hear the separation? That is not a slur, not what we want. So let's go back to slurring. Let's slur up. C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C. 1, 2, ready, slur. So really, the only thing that's changing is your fingers. Let's go to a brass instrument. If you're gonna slur on a brass instrument, like the French horn, same thing, no tonguing. I'm gonna do the same 5 notes. C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, ready, here's a slur. And let's go down, ready, slur. Here's what they would sound like if they weren't slurred. With my tongue, right? Let's slur them again, ready, go. All of those notes kind of flow right into each other. Let's do one more wind instrument. Trumpet. Exact same concept. Don't tongue, don't separate those notes. Let's do our C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, ready, slur. Now slur going down, ready, go. I know a lot of my wind players, you guys really enjoy slurring, like when we've been doing scales and lessons. It's a great way to warm up. I want you to keep practicing your tonguing, but slur, connect all of those different notes. Let's talk about how to slur on a string instrument. When you're slurring on a string instrument, your left hand, your fingers are going to change between whichever notes you're playing, but your right hand, your bow hand, is going to be doing one long bow stroke. So I'm going to demonstrate on my E string because that's closest to the camera, but I'm going to play open E, F sharp, G sharp, A, all on one bow stroke. So I'm slurring all of those together like this. See how it's still one long stroke? Let's go backwards. Ready, play. That's your slur. Instead of moving your bow back and forth, it's one long bow stroke. Got it? All right, let's demo it on cello. Okay, cello's same concept as violin, right? Or viola. One long bow stroke, but your left hand fingers are changing. So I'm so far away, I know you're not gonna be able to see my left hand very well, but I really want you to see my bow hand so you can see that it's one stroke for however many notes you're putting in the slur. So let's say we're gonna do 4 notes again. We'll go on our D string. So we'll play open D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and see how it's all one stroke here? Let's go backwards, descending from G. Okay, hop over to your A string. Let's practice slurring over there. Going down. So instead of making this go in time like we work so hard to when you're beginning and your bow has to move with every different note that you're playing, now it doesn't. One long bow, and your left hand is what's changing. All right, everybody, I hope that that was helpful to go over the difference between a tie and a slur. What do they look like? What are they telling you to do? A tie, you just add the amounts together and hold the note for that many beats. And a slur, you connect those notes smoothly. So for my wind players, that means no tonguing in between. And for my string players, that means one nice bow. You're not changing your bow direction until the slur is done, and then you can change bow. Okay? In your books, so ties and slurs are covered in your books. I'm going to tell you what page. For my string players, ties are introduced at the top of page 27. Okay? So they put it in a little box right here. They show you an example, they talk about it, and then your exercises underneath that, you'll see, will incorporate the tie. No, not down here. On your very next page, on page 28, they talk about the slurs, okay? My string players, you guys also have something called hooked bowing. Maybe we'll make a separate string video on that. But here you see the slurs. For my band kids, ties are talked about on page 10 of your books, okay? And everybody's working on their orange belt or already got their orange belt knows that you're playing those ties in Marianne, Shoe Fly, Duet of the Crusaders, right? And then slurs they bring in on page 17. So they introduce ties first because they're easier, just holding the note out. Make sure you're counting correctly, okay? And slurs can be a little bit more challenging. So that's why they wait a little bit later to introduce those. So if you have been logging on to the Google Classroom and you need something to do, this video is up there, but I've also put up a Google form and a Google slide, a little assignment that you could do to show me that you can recognize the difference between slurs and ties. If you're working on any of these exercises in your book that have slurs and ties, tell me about it. Send me a video, send me an audio recording if you can figure out how to do that. Send them to me through Google Classroom. I would love to hear you play through these concepts, okay? So keep practicing. Great job.